Hey guys. I think it's sorry. Um, just getting everything ready here. Woohoo! So welcome to part two. Thank you for understanding that I needed to jump off sooner than I thought last week to go to Los Angeles and do all these things. This week I'm working from home, which is so nice. And probably next week and possibly the week after, I'll be in LA to not only work, but it's my little nephew Finn's fourth birthday on May 3rd. So I'll be in LA next week. Um, so if you're here, leave me a comment. Hello, my monetizing magicians. Hey, Christine. Welcome. Okay, so there's a lot going on. Q2 is kind of like a, till we get in, but then in July, the big news is Venus goes retrograde, which is huge for our businesses, right? You pulled the magician card. That's awesome, Christine. So, Q2, like Q1 was really smooth and flowy, and this quarter is like, wow. It's all about the change. It's all about pivoting, restructuring, reviewing, redoing. We have, so let's see here. How many planets in retrograde? Right now we have Mercury in retrograde. And Pluto went into retrograde as well on. No, Pluto goes retrograde on May 1st. Then we have the full moon lunar eclipse on May 5th in Scorpio. So, yeah, on Beltane, May 1st, we have a Pluto retrograde. So, I already went over that in our last session, so I'm not going to go over that. I'm just kind of giving you a brief overview. Mercury goes direct May 14th, but it's really in shadow for 2 weeks after that. So, really, not until June 1st are we fully out of the woods for Mercury retrograde. It looks like we left off on May 16th when Jupiter enters Taurus. So, we're going to talk about May 17th, which is also a big, big deal. I'm just giving you an overview. Let's see here. There's a Saturn retrograde in June and a Neptune retrograde. And then, yeah, July starts Q3. Like, what the hell? What happened to this year? Oh my God. Right? It's crazy. Hi, Tracy. Welcome. So, my beautiful monetizing magicians, the idea for these sessions is for you to maybe take some notes if you feel called and to see, what are the energies in this quarter coming up and, what kind of things do I want to market? What kind of things do I want to offer? What do I want to create? How do I want to move through my business and do it with more ease? And working with astrology can really help us. So this is based on Western astrology, Hellenistic. Generally, I'm reading whole signs. Um, I pulled a chart for Astra because I told her that I would, but I don't think she's live yet. So Astra, when you come live, I'm happy to look at your chart, but I don't know if I might have Christine's information. Do I, Christine, have your chart information? I don't. And if you want me to, if you know your birth time and all that goodness, your birth time and location, obviously you know the date. Um, I can pull up a chart and kind of give you some, like practical, based on, somebody else's chart here. Okay, so All right. This is a very twisty, turny kind of quarter. And I'm going to go into a little more detail now. So I'm going to start with May 17th, Jupiter square Pluto. So Jupiter square Pluto is considered by many Western astrologers as the most significant planetary aspect of the year. It's going to have a really intense impact, more than usual, because Jupiter aligns with the same degrees as the April 20th solar eclipse, which was also square Pluto. So it's almost like we're getting another blast of energy into that eclipse portal, which we do have this full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio on May 5th, right? We talked about that last time. And then it's almost like we're going to get another hit and a review from the April 20th solar eclipse, which for a lot of people, from what I can tell, was very lucky. A lot of people had good things happen on that day, or around that date. So maybe it's more abundance coming in, but it's definitely going to be something similar, but with Pluto square Jupiter is like having really big dreams and really like wanting a certain kind of project or something in your career that you feel really driven to like take it to the next level, right? And unfortunately, some people, how it will affect them, they might become kind of ruthless, like success at any cost. And and that could include people treating you that way, people coming at you like, okay, I need this from you, or you need to help me do this, or maybe you'll feel, you might feel stepped on. And I don't like to say negative things necessarily in these kinds of reports, but I just have to put it out there that that's something that can happen because Jupiter is expansion. Jupiter is the guru planet. It's good luck. It's transformation and change. Pluto is transformation and change as well, but Pluto can get kind of obsessive with its own drives, its own desires. Like, I must have this and get the fuck out of my way. If you're in my way, I'm going to roll over you. So, some people, depending on, where this falls in their chart, they might have run-ins with other business owners, with other friends, family, about based on some greedy bullshit, based on, you know, certain people putting money and success ahead of people in their lives or other priorities that are actually really more important, which is, again, I feel like, we might see a collision between professional life and personal life. So, yeah, I'm going to be definitely looking at this date closer in my own chart. Um, yeah, I can't see, Christine, if you put your birth information in there or not. You may not feel comfortable doing it on a live, so don't worry about it. Um, I guess, well, I've got Astra's up here, so I'm going to use hers. So the Pluto-Jupiter conjunction is in May, but I've actually got hers queued up to June 3rd, which is her rebirth day. Let's see here. Jupiter is in Taurus. Let's see here. And Pluto is in, I think, Aquarius, right? Where's Aquarius in her chart? Yeah. So Pluto is, is about, is retrograde and is going to go retrograde back into Capricorn. So that's another part of this report. So the square in Astra's chart is in between her ninth and her fifth house. So for her, that could mean, in travel, well, it might be more sixth house for her. So the ninth and the sixth house. So sixth house is day-to-day health, the body, your pets, how you move through your day-to-day work. So there could be this wanting to really get something off the ground, really get this big dream going, but it seems like everybody is pulling you maybe in a different direction, Astra, that everybody wants you in your day-to-day life to be focusing on them. So it's finding, when we have squares, it's finding the balance between what you need and then what someone else needs. Okay, so Christine, hey Miranda. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to run these right now, probably, if I'm going to make it through all this stuff. So I'm going to go through another part of the report, and then as we get further down, I will run these other charts. Thanks, Christine and Miranda. So, Astra, your rising is Scorpio. So you're definitely going to be feeling, oh no, sorry. Your rising is Virgo. I got the Scorpio and the Virgo. They're kind of close. Okay. So your rising is Virgo. Very cool. Okay. Back to the reports. So that's Jupiter square Pluto. So people can become obsessive. They can just, people can come out of the woodwork and just be asking for more than they're due, like, kind of overstepping boundaries. So it's all about really keeping clear boundaries. And this is also a good, Jupiter and Pluto are the wealth planets, prosperity. So I would definitely really focus on, prosperity and building long-term wealth, looking at those kinds of things. And you don't want to overestimate your resources at this time, because that's also can get blown out of proportion. You could feel really confident, like, oh my God, I'm going to put all this money into this stock or in this crypto, or you know what I mean? There might be like a big surge in the crypto market, and a lot of people might start throwing their money in, but then it could take a big dip or whatever. Just don't invest money that you can't afford to lose. That's what I always say. Because I like to have fun with cryptos and stock market. I love investing, but I do very much like small amounts, because right now that's what I'm playing with. But, some people really want to play big during this kind of a transit, and I think that could blow up in their face. So I wouldn't advise it. And the same with taking a big business risk. I mean, I always say, you're all in your business, you put everything in, go for it. You just, again, it's a little bit dicey this quarter to really say this is a sure thing, because it could, like, the rewards could be exponential, but so could the cost. So it's like just balancing out that decision based on real facts, because Jupiter and Pluto can blow things out of proportion. And then we're not looking at facts anymore. We're going with our emotion, maybe with our gut. And the gut may not win over in this transit I'm feeling. Okay, so that's an important one. We're done with that. Okay. May 19th, we're moving on. New moon in Taurus. So this is the lunation that closes the eclipse portal. So this is the very first new moon, because we had that new moon, right, in Aries that opened up the eclipse portal. And now it's going to close with this new moon in Taurus. So we're going to start feeling really nice a little bit smoother, that Taurus energy, things might actually start to settle and slow down. Like I feel like we've been shot out of a cannon since, I think late February for me. It was like, I mean, January went fast, but after end of February, it seemed like March was a blink and April, was pretty much almost over. So things might feel slower, which is good, right? So people are feeling stable again, ready to sink deeper into the new vision of their finances, home, the body, their possessions. I feel like more people will want to invest in themselves, invest in their home, invest maybe in courses about finances or prosperity, manifestation. They might actually be wanting to maybe finally spend money on themselves. So Taurus is a very much, it's not like Cancer where people like to nurture others. Taurus is a lot about the nurturing of the self. So self-care. So that's a great time if you have products, services, classes about self-care, beauty, nutrition, exercise, all of these things will fit under Taurus. Any of the arts, art is, beauty, bringing beauty, feng shui. Like for Tracy, I could see a beautiful new moon crystal gridding thing. You could do something really beautiful around the Taurus new moon. Okay. So we have one last transit that I want to go through before we go into June. And so after this transit, I will run Christine's chart. We'll take a quick look at it. And I wish I could figure out, I don't really know how to share screen on Facebook Lives. I'm sure there might be a way. I'll have to figure that out. But anyways, May 20th, Mars enters Leo. So this is super fiery energy. It's very performative, dynamic, entertaining, stage presence, and taking center stage. And we just want to be careful not to push other people off the stage because it's going to be a crowded stage. People are like, woohoo! It's like the eclipse portal is closed. We're in that kind of late Taurus energy, and we just feel good. We feel stable. We feel beautiful. We're loving ourselves. And then the Mars Leo is like, woohoo! It's kind of like a party, but it can be very aggressive. People like pushing other people off the stage, like, well, look at me, look at me, look at me. Anyways, there's all kinds of different things that can happen. But I think Mars in Leo is a beautiful, beautiful transit. And let's look at this on Astra's chart here. Mars in Leo. Where's Leo here? Here's Leo. And at some point, I think in July, we will have the Mars and Venus conjunct. They will be kissing in the sign of Leo because she is going to be in Leo for quite a period. So, but even if they don't like fully kiss, come together in conjunction, they're going to be close. They're going to be moving through Leo at the same time at some point. So that's really beautiful energy. That's the balance of masculine and feminine. That is the cosmic lovers reuniting. For Astra, this is in her 12th house. So for you, this is all about balancing in the unconscious, the feminine and masculine, and also the very sacred energy of the sacred feminine and masculine, and a lot of healing around this balancing of the two polarities. So I feel like it's going to be a beautiful transit for you, Astra. But for, again, for the rest of us, even if you don't know where Leo is in your chart, Mars and Leo is going to give us a lot of energy, a lot of fire, a lot of passion, and the excitement to really step up and be visible. So this is a great visibility transit, showing up on lives, showing up in person, going out and networking, meeting people. And, again, be gracious. Just allow for everybody to get their moment in the sun, because everybody's going to want their moment in the sun. Okay, Christine, let me run your chart quickly. 6165. Okay, Leo Queen, I mean not Leo Queen, Gemini Queen. 5:15 p.m. Looks like it's Oceanside. It's a beautiful area. Oh, wait, it's Oceanside, New York. I thought it was Oceanside, California. Hold on a second. I gotta fix that. Oh no. What happened? Okay. Other town. Okay, Oceanside, New York. Okay, all right. So we're moving now into June. So June, we have Gemini season, right? So it's fun. We get to actually look at Christine's chart because she's a Gemini, born on June 1st. Beautiful. So we're going to start with June 3rd. There's a full moon in Sagittarius. So this will light up our sense of adventure and any writing projects, publishing, long distance travel. It's great for teaching and stepping up as the leader in your field. Okay. Let's see here. So, this is going to be a really like big ideas, running with fun, adventure, definitely, I feel like a lot of communication and a lot of deeper communication. So it could be about writing about spirituality or expressing very deep ideals, philosophies. All of that will fare very well during this time. Miranda, you said you're late. Huh. I thought I saw your, Miranda, I thought I saw your chart information, but now it's not here anymore. So I don't know, maybe you took it down. Okay. So Christine, this full moon in Sag happens in your second house. The second house is income, finances. So it sounds like that you might be looking at one stream of income that maybe you're kind of done with and you want to replace it with a new one. This could be about replacing one income with another and seeing a whole new path illuminated towards that. And interesting, I don't know about, your partner might be coming into some money. So some of this money might not just be your income, it might also be his income or, income from a property sold or a family property or an inheritance of some kind. So there is a nice, possibly money flow for you. Okay. So Miranda, okay, there's your, thanks for reposting that. Let me run your chart, Miranda. 127.85. Hopefully this is helping you guys. Oh, Miranda won't let me run it on this thing. You've reached your limit of 100 items. You have to delete some. Well, that, yeah, I'm sure I could. I'm happy to delete some of these people because I don't need all these people. Okay. Who can I delete? Let's see. It doesn't give me. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to take an old person, not an old person, but someone that I read for like 6 or 7 years ago, and I'm going to replace their information with yours. That's what I will do. Okay, Miranda Forsman. Thanks for bearing with me. And it looks like you are January 27th. Look at the date here. Yeah, the Mercury game, of course. 85,903. Okay, Miranda. It looks like you said Martin, Tennessee. Okay. Okay. So now let's go to, I want to look at your transits. Oh. And we're going to look at, again, let's go to June. All right. Ah, beautiful. Okay, let's pump this up a little bigger. Okay, so this June 3rd full moon is going to be in, wait a minute. Am I in the wrong year? No, June 3rd, 2023. Oh yeah, it's going to be in your 10th house. Ooh, so 10th house is career, fame, and status. So you're definitely going to be very in a time to celebrate. So maybe there's a new project, a new career, or something that you're doing in your work or career that's bringing you to the limelight. That's you're getting recognition for something. So really cool. So that's how you guys, if you run your own chart like this, and then you can look at, let me see if it'll let me show my screen, interactivity, polls, questions, graphics. I don't know what that means. I don't really need that. Yeah, when I go to the viewer, and I mouse, I think maybe if I was on my phone, it might let me switch to screen, but oh well, whatever. Sorry, I'm just seeing if I can actually show the screen while I'm talking about this, but I don't think there's a way. All right, so we've got a few of you now that are here live that I have your charts, and I want to have time to maybe pull some oracle cards too. So let me just kind of try to breeze through this now. Okay, so June 5th, Venus enters Leo. So we know Mars is in Leo, so this is again a beautiful time for Venus as well. So, Venus, I don't know. I feel like Venus in Leo is going to be, again, very much like the Mars, less aggressive. Obviously, Mars is also the god of war, right? I feel like Venus will, really soak up being center stage, being in the light. So this is really a transit where you are the goddess or god illuminated. You are the queen or king of the light. So I feel like, again, this is a great time to really be more visible in your business, put yourself center stage, not to, again, we're not pushing people off stage, we're sharing the spotlight, taking our turn. And there could be someone maybe that steps on your toes and tries to push you off the stage, and it's not going to go well if they try to do that to you. So I'm just saying, people are definitely going to be very much performative, wanting to be entertaining. So all of these can go into your offers, into your marketing. You could use humor, you can use lives more, being on camera more. And if that's not it, maybe it's whatever form, maybe it's a podcast. This might be a great time to get on a podcast and be featured in someone, again, taking the spotlight and sharing the spotlight with somebody else. So I could see like a podcasting thing or being interviewed on YouTube kind of a thing would be very, very supportive of your business, supportive of your prosperity, and getting your brand out there in the public even more. So Venus is going to be in Leo for a long time because she's going to retrograde in Leo in Q3 in July. So a little bit about the Venus retrograde cycle. So her, cycles last 8 years, and the Venus cycle actually forms a pentagram, a five-pointed star in the sky, which is again cosmic because the goddess Venus and Aphrodite, one of their main symbols is the pentagram. Because if you look at like an apple sliced in half on the side, you can see in the seeds the shape of the pentagram. So a lot of people consider this a satanic symbol. It is not. It is a symbol of protection. It's a symbol of manifestation and good luck. An upside down pentagram, yes, Satanists use that symbol, but really, as it's a magical symbol, it's very potent. I mean, I use it to open portals, and bring in portal magic and put stuff out there into the ethers. It's very, very powerful. So in the course of our lifetimes, Venus will only retrograde in 5 zodiac signs: Gemini, Capricorn and early Aquarius, Leo and early Virgo, Aries, and late Libra and Scorpio. So again, it switches up, right? So this particular retrograde cycle will take us back to July to September 2007, and more recently, July to September 2015. So this is, again, Venus in Leo. If you can remember the summer of 2007 or the summer of 2015, you could see maybe what was being reviewed. And Venus has to do with relationships, love, money, beauty, art. So all of those topics she'll be like retrograding through. So there's a review about maybe past relationships, or about money. and finances. I cannot for the life of me right now remember 2007. It was the year before Seraphina was born for me, and 2015. But you could also, if you have one of these, if you go to the astro.com and you run your chart, you can actually put a date, in July of 2015 and see, where the planets were and check that out. But generally, a Venus retrograde is going to have to do with love and money. Am I still on? Can you guys see me? I'm not seeing any comments now all of a sudden. Okay. Hold on a second. Get me back. Oh no. Am I here? Okay, hi Kris. You're late, but you're here. Yay. Okay, Miranda, 2007 was your last year of college when you made all the normal choices. You were boring as fuck. I'm sure you weren't. Okay, yeah, my computer did something weird and the whole thing disappeared. Like I couldn't see my video, I couldn't see comments anymore, but now I can see it all again. Oh, Facebook, you're just so lovely. Okay, yeah, Venus retrograde. It's going to be interesting. So, for me, it makes sense. Venus retrograde 2015 for me was like the first time I basically I separated from my now ex-husband, but I was married at that time, and I separated from him for like I think a few days. Yeah, it was the opposite for you, Kris. It was when you got 2007 was when you got married. Oh my gosh, that's cool. So you're gonna feel extra love vibes, girl. So you get to, it might be, maybe this is the time to renew your vows, do something special together on your, I don't know when your wedding anniversary is, I don't remember, but it might have passed already for this year, but still you can do something around, June, between June and, August. I don't, yeah, we'll go over Q3 when it's Q3, but, Venus is going to be in this spot for a while. So extra special vibes. And yeah, right now I'm not in a relationship, but I'm very happy being single. So there you have it. It could be that I'm reviewing my own sense of, what it means to be independent and what it means to be free. I'm not saying that I don't want someone in my life. I know someone is coming and will be in my life, which is great, but it's not like I'm going to be, holding my breath. I'm going to be living and having fun and hanging out with my girlfriends. So you have two. You have January, November. Gosh, you Brazilians know how to party. I love the Brazilians, really. If you've never been to Brazil, folks, you need to go. It is, yeah, one of the most, again, talk about a Venus in Leo kind of a place, that would be Brazil. It's all about the beauty and the dancing and the happiness and the joy in our body. So again, Venus retrograde could be, I don't know, like some people say don't launch during retrogrades. I generally don't launch new things. I might relaunch old things. But I just want to say, let's take the rules out of some of this stuff because the rules don't always apply. And as we're seeing with a lot of these energies the past couple of years, well, the past 3 years since COVID, things can just change on a dime in the whole world, right? It just, and yeah, I think we're like at the brink of war in the Sudan. I mean, there's a lot going on that, it affects us, but maybe we're not focusing on that. But there could be world events that could, be a little difficult during the Venus retrograde. So, holding that vision of peace and love and prosperity for all, I feel like, we've come through so much as a collective, the collective of humanity, and I feel like Venus will speak to this. Venus wants everyone to have prosperity, at least in their vision of prosperity, right? Um, and equality and fairness. Oh yeah, my book launch party was 2015. That's right. Ooh, so maybe there's another book launch on June 3rd. I am finishing up another book called The Song of the Siren, all about the mermaids. So we'll see if I can. Maybe I should just do a pre-book launch party. Right, Kris? Oh, and you have Venus in Leo. Wow. Kris, this is going to be magical, magical time for you. So yeah, journal, folks. Journal, especially I think Venus is such a beautiful personal planet for men and for women, right? And it is, she is going to really be going through this beautiful journey of going to the underworld and coming back. So that's part of the retrograde Venus cycle is the goddess going to the underworld, um, and reemerging, rebirthing, right? So um, I'll do a special on Venus and business very soon, very soon. Probably right before Q3. I'll try to plan that for June sometime. Okay, my loves. Okay. Let's see what other goodness we could talk about. Okay. June 11th, Pluto retrogrades back into Capricorn. It seems like he just went into Aquarius, but he's back. So Pluto and Capricorn retrograde is definitely going to be touching on some points from 2021 to 2022, probably even 2020. So what does that mean? Again, we need to go back and restructure something. We need to go back and look at what it is in our business, in our lives. What are the systems? Do you have systems in place? Systems that work for you, systems that make you work smarter, systems that help you flow through your work with more ease and efficiency, right? We want, Capricorn is about structure, but it's also about career, and that traditional, like how we make money, how we bring in income. And if you're struggling in your business to scale, or you have grown and it's like things feel unsustainable, things feel out of control, you need to get a handle on that. You need to work on your systems. How are you planning? This is what we're doing right now. We're planning. We're planning for this beautiful time, because every time is beautiful, even when there are challenges. We're planning what we're doing, how we're doing it, right? Because the intention behind everything is so, so important. Okay. Hopefully I'm still on. Okay. Also on the same day, June 11th, Mercury enters Gemini. So again, an awesome, awesome energy for all communication, marketing efforts, great for writing projects, since all of this was activated by the Sag full moon on June 3rd. So really like a week later, we get even more juice and power. So Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. So Geminis and Virgos, writing projects for you are really great. Communication, marketing, all of that stuff. This would be a great time to not only do more writing, but also, make some announcements, right? Because at this point we are definitely out of the Mercury retrograde. We're in a very happy Mercury in Gemini, having a party, Um, seeing our friends, networking, a great time for networking, okay? Thanks, Kris, for letting me know. Okay. Woohoo! June 17th. We're getting towards the end. June 17th, Saturn retrograde. Wah wah wah. So, the mutable signs will be feeling this. Mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, Pisces, and Sagittarius. Those are the four mutable signs. You're going to be feeling it. Also, Capricorns and Aquarius, we're ruled by Saturn. So that's Cap rising, Cap sun, Aquarius rising, Aquarius sun. Secondarily, we will be feeling Saturn retrograde because Saturn rules Capricorn, and also Saturn was the original ruler of Aquarius until Uranus came on the scene or was discovered. Okay? So this is about restructure vibes, coming back to the drawing table. But that's good. So I feel like, early June is such a go time. We'll be launching, we'll be learning, and then going, okay, that worked, that didn't work, and then beginning to restructure for the next round when you launch again or communicate, market something again, right? You're just going to be reformulating things, but fun. June 18th, new moon in Gemini. So there's going to be a lot of action in Gemini, right? We have Mercury in Gemini, and now we have the new moon in Gemini. And I feel like this is, again, a blessing. Such a blessed transit for all the mutable signs, for everybody. Everybody's going to want to be with friends and family. Things are going to be light and playful and fun. So that's, again, if you're doing any kind of projects or promotions, courses, workshops, anything, you want this, you want to plan for this time, what you have to offer, to be playful, maybe around networking, around communication, around writing, talking, speaking, anything playful, flirty energy. This is very flirty energy. This is not the deep end of relationships. This is just about fun and light, humor. All of those things are going to be fantastic. So, June 18th, we're getting close to, again, summer solstice. Summer solstice is such a beautiful, for me, it's like one of my favorite seasons. It's like the seasonal moment where I just feel so free and light and happy and wanting to just be out and about. Celebrating. It's a really great energy. So June 19th, Jupiter sextile Saturn, beautiful energy. Again, sextiles means opportunities. Jupiter is expanding opportunities. Saturn is all about career, commitment. So, again, it depends on what part of your sky this hits. So we have Miranda's chart. So let's see, what's this date again? It is June 19th. Let's look at June 19th on Miranda's chart. Okay, Saturn is in. Ooh, okay, Miranda. You have a similar chart to me because I also have Pisces in the first house. So I have Pisces rising. So you have Saturn in the first house, and Jupiter is in your third house of Taurus. Beautiful. So this is, a sextile opportunity of, being visible in your marketing, being visible, being more celebrated, some growth maybe on your newsletter list, your maybe social media audience growth, YouTube, whatever, social media that you are working. And I'm sensing that, video would be really good for you, or, maybe this is TikTok. I don't know which of your social medias you're really working, but that would be a great, great one. So, Kris, you said Sag. I don't know what that was about. If you want to tell me, is that your rising? Kris, okay, I do have your chart in here. Hold on. Let's look at Kris's chart for this date. Your Saturn is in the second house. So right now you have Saturn transiting Pisces second house. That's definitely about income growth. Beautiful. And Jupiter is in your fourth house of home. So really, I mean, maybe you guys will be putting more money into your house, more decorating, renovating, laying a foundation, more savings or more investments could be really good at this time. So the more money is coming to you, more expansion in your second house. You know, Saturn is often looked at badly in the second house because it could look like limitations. But I don't think it's necessarily limitations for you as to a committing to a financial plan, committing to, well, if I want to do, let's say, more travel, or I want to do retreats abroad, or I want to do this or that. This is about committing and making a plan and making a structure that is really solid. Because if the structures are not solid, Saturn will be like, yeah, this I'm not going to make this time work for you. So the more you work with Saturn, the more you can find that you get the rewards, you get the payback, right? Mutable sign, Sag. Okay, yeah, you were just telling me what the other mutable sign was. Thanks. Oh, I wasn't looking at the screen, but I appreciate my people helping me out. Okay, let's see. Christine, are you still on? I can't tell. Let me go back here. I don't see you on here anymore. If you are, let me know. Okay. Okay, the next transit, June 30th, Neptune retrograde, another retrograde. I'm telling you, it's like, here we go. Yeah, well, structures, definitely structures, systems would be great. Yeah, Saturn. Yeah, do you have like an automatic, like investing, automatic savings that, you know, like a certain amount of money that will always, like every month, be going into maybe your travel fund or your retreat fund or your whatever fund, right? But you know, the fourth house of home is what might really be affected here. So maybe again, you and Kris decide to put more money into your landscaping or something. Who knows? It could be real estate related things. I don't know if you wanted to buy a second home somewhere or a timeshare. That could be a possibility as well. So Neptune retrograde, where is Neptune retrograding? Okay, Kris will use your chart here. Neptune is in Pisces, so he's retrograding in your second house of money. Yeah, so don't be too unrealistic, too pie in the sky, but you know, Neptune rules the higher spiritual arts. So, you know, you could be getting some dreams about how to invest, some dreams about how to work with your money, some dreams and downloads around, I'm feeling like self-worth, some real like high vibes around self-worth and dreaming up the life that you really desire, that you've been dreaming about. And it's very much, it's not just the life you desire from that sacral chakra, but from the crown chakra, from the true, you know, alignment with the divine. Like, what is the dream that I've been dreaming for myself? And is it really in alignment with the big dream, with the dream that the divine has for me? So yeah, I feel like for you, it'll be a review of dreams. Okay, Miranda, let's look at yours for this date. Okay, Pisces for you is in the first house. And if I don't know if you know in your natal chart, you were born with Venus and Mars conjunct in your first house. Wow, in Pisces. Wow. That's beautiful. The cosmic lovers, the masculine and feminine. So you are really this beautiful higher level embodiment of the union of divine feminine and divine masculine. Anyway, so Neptune retrograde your first house. Again, it's this higher octave of love. So activating this deeper love. I don't know if you're in a relationship now or if someone's coming in, but it could be, you know, obviously deepening, obviously, of a relationship with yourself and that deep self-love. But I also feel like you are attracting the more love from other areas in your life in the outside world, if that makes sense. Okay. So that's Q2 transits. It took two parts, but married 13 years, beautiful. Oh, I love that. Okay, Miranda, I'm going to pull you a Keepers of the Light Oracle. And Kris, if you're still here, let me know. Anybody who's here live, I will pull a card from the Keepers of the Light deck for you today. And we have a couple minutes, so we're just going to do some quick one card little readings. I'm going to shuffle. Pull one for Miranda first, since I can tell that you're definitely online. I don't know who else is. Okay, Kris. It's not showing you definitely online, but I had a feeling you probably were. So Miranda and then Kris for a card pull. And if anybody's here, please do leave a comment so I know you're here, because it's hard for me to tell. Okay, Miranda, this is what your Ascended Masters want you to know. Wow, this one came flying out. You got Gaia, Earth connection. Beautiful. Be mindful of the planet. Come back to Earth. Stay grounded. Okay, let me read the card for you. I'll read part of it. You are blessed to receive this Great Mother card today because it shows that the earth itself, through the image of Gaia, is protecting your path. You are a strong, focused, and loving individual. Stay grounded and don't allow your imagination, ego, or fears to run away with you. Ensure your choices are for the highest good. Gaia is also bringing her motherly love to you and encircling you in a cocoon of peace. If you have troubles with a mother in your life or are feeling disconnected from or grieving your own mother, Gaia helps revitalize that connection and will bring healing where it is possible. If you are a mother and are worrying about these duties, know that Gaia is thanking you for your hard work and commitment. The earth is blessed to have you. What a beautiful image. Miranda, I think, are you enrolled in the Pleasure Flow and Cyrenalia? I don't remember if you are. I think you're really going to love it if you are. And if you need the link, let me know. I'll send it to you. Okay, Kris. Let's get a card for you. What do your Ascended Masters want you to know? Your guides. Okay. Got people walking by my window. They're always like, what is she doing? Yeah, my neighbors probably think I play my crystal bowls in here and I'm little Miss Spirituality. They're probably like, okay, whatever. Oh my gosh. Kris, you got the same card, Gaia. It's beautiful. So I feel like the earth is definitely calling us to pay attention, to stay grounded. That, I know, Kris, you've been really, really busy, and I feel like this is probably a really good sign that to remind you to really ground your energy into the earth, go outside in nature. And I love the flower of life pattern around her too. It's kind of subtle, but so pretty. And I know, Kris, you're signed up for Pleasure Flow in the Sirenalia, I think. Or you said you were coming. I cannot wait for that. It starts next week on Monday on Beltane. We're like getting towards Beltane right now. So again, this is that first fire that's waking us up, that's bringing us back to life and like reanimating the body, and a very Venusian energy, right? Very much about love and sexuality and sensuality and rebirth, new life, getting out there, feeling more rooted, right? We're more connected to the earth, and also we're more rooted into the stars, because the veils are getting thinner and thinner, and once we get to Beltane, the veils are very thin, and that's why at these Celtic cross-quarter festivals we have these fire ceremonies, right, to purify and to bring light into any dark places. I'm so excited that you're definitely coming. Okay, Sirenalia people, begins May 1st and goes through about May 15th or 16th. It's 2 weeks of amazing, amazing live events. And if you can't be there live, the recordings will be saved in Pleasure Flow in that online course portal forever, or at least as long as I have Podia. And the mermaids really do help us run our businesses and approach our businesses totally differently, and in that way that is more about flow, that is more about ease, that is more about bringing in the dream, downloading the energy. We'll be doing a lot of visualizations and meditations and activations with the Mermaid Collective, and it does awaken your manifestation powers in a big way. And of course, with Beltane energy around this, it's definitely going to be very much a time of manifesting bliss, manifesting more prosperity, and again, doing it in a way that feels fun, that feels like there's some depth to it, that has that spiritual, divine, stamp on it. Okay. Thank you for being with me. And if you have questions about anything we talked about with any of the transits, please leave messages in the comments and hashtag replay, and let me know that you're watching and if you enjoyed this. Okay. Bye, everyone. Thanks.